Thank you all for being here today and continuing to assist the Escambia County Sheriff's Office and surrounding law enforcement agencies, as well as the State Attorney's Office, in the continued pursuit, hopefully leading to the arrest of William Boyette and Mary Rice. I think it's appropriate for the victims of this, our communities, and specifically for the families, that we set the solemnity of this occasion. Our Santa Rosa County victims were discovered on January the 31st in the Emerald Sands Inn in Milton, Florida. The two deceased were identified as 30-year-old Alicia Ann Greer, Escambia County resident, and 39-year-old Jacqueline Jeanette Moore. Baldwin County victims shot in their driveway on February the 3rd, 52-year-old Peggy Brose. And unfortunately today in Escambia County we have our first victim, 28-year-old Kayla Crocker of Beulah. It is difficult to speak about this, ladies and gentlemen, because these are the cases that we in law enforcement fear, where we have what is apparently, with the last two victims anyway, a random selection. And so therefore, much to our disappointment and much primarily to our frustration, we're chasing a lot of shadows and a lot of rumors. And so part of the reason for today's press conference is we're going to give our entreaties to you in the media and also to citizens in our community. While it is our goal here to provide as much information as possible about the progress of this case, I will also let you know that those of you who are blowing up social media are creating tremendous issues for us. There is a difference between an informed electorate, if you will, or an informed citizenry when they are provided complete, clear, and accurate information. When you put out information that this murder was as a result of a Craigslist post, which turns out to be completely false, or when you put out information on your different social media platforms and groups that you have formed that Mary Rice was shot and killed or someone has been arrested, then understand something. That requires a reaction from us in law enforcement because we do not have that luxury. We cannot stand before you here today and give you wild speculation or tell you how we think it should be or how the case should progress. We must take the time to back up and verify each and every fact that we place forward. So we ask, please, for your assistance. And I will tell you that some of these rumors have been fueled by the media. When you get people contacting your Facebook pages that someone was arrested or someone was shot and killed, etc., and you put that out over your media sources, then it lends credence to that very rumor. And then our phones blow up. And we get asked why they weren't informed by the Sheriff's Office or what's the status of this particular case. And so again, we would beg you, if you will, to please work with us on this case and not at cross purposes. We would like to thank Lamar Billboards. As you well know, we have a contract with Lamar, which they put out all of our information at no cost to our community for the state of Florida and also for the state of Alabama and any other place that we may find that we suspect Mr. Boyette and his accomplice, Ms. Rice, has fled to. They've agreed to use the electronic billboards across wherever they need to go in order for us to continue to pursue him and his image. Clear up a couple of other rumors, especially for the citizens of Beulah. It was rumored that Mr. Boyette and his accomplice, Ms. Rice, spent the night in a home that was under construction. We cannot verify that. To the best of our knowledge, that is not true. We have confirmed that Mr. Boyette and his accomplice, Ms. Rice, have been very mobile, moving throughout wooded areas, not just in the Beulah Road and 9 Mile area, but they have stayed mobile, and that's one of the ways that they have eluded their capture. We have had canines out there making tracks. We have now enlisted the assistance of some of the bloodhounds to actually go back and see if we can't find some of their encampments. But again, they are not a static target. If they were a static target, they would already be in custody. For those of you also on Facebook that are tracking the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, you are hindering our progress in this investigation. If you are telegraphing what we are doing, then you're also telegraphing this information to Mr. Boyette and Ms. Rice. So I caution you in the things that you put on social media, please use it responsibly. You can become more of a hindrance than you are a help. With that, I will turn this over to our Chief Deputy, Chip Simmons, and also to Mr. Eddins, who's our state attorney. Chip Simmons will follow up with telling you where we are progressively in the conduct of this investigation from, again, an operational standpoint. And if there are any specific questions involving the legalities and where we're at, of course, Mr. Eddins' office will handle that. Chief?
Thank you, Sheriff. What we are experiencing is a running nightmare, quite honest. So we're doubling our uniform presence to add 25 additional uniform officers day and night for the foreseeable future. Additionally, we are suspending our minor property investigations so that those investigators assigned to those cases can concentrate solely on these cases here. So that should add another 25 investigators, plainclothes investigators. As you can see, we take this very serious. We're increasing by twofold our uniformed deputies as well as our plainclothes deputies. And in short, we have a killer, and he is in our midst, has been in our midst, and everyone, and I mean everyone, should be aware of this, should be aware of what they look like, how they've been traveling, and take the appropriate measures. And with that, again, I just want to reiterate the efforts that we're putting out here at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Eddins.
I would just mention that there are multiple law enforcement agencies cooperating extremely well in the efforts to catch this person. Our office is working with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, Santa Rosa Sheriff's Office, Marshal Service, Florida Department of Law Enforcement to provide any assistance regarding legal issues that become necessary. I will report to you that I've talked with the authorities in Santa Rosa County regarding the murder there of the two women, and the sheriff has scheduled a news conference for 9 o'clock in the morning, and he will be able to update the media at that time on the investigation, and will provide, it's my expectation that he will provide a significant amount of additional information regarding that investigation. And that's basically it from our point of view. We're providing whatever assistance is necessary to all law enforcement agencies involved in this matter. It's a very unusual occurrence, as I'm sure you're aware. I will indicate to you that throughout the years we've had several matters where we were attempting to locate criminal defendants, and the media has been a very positive force in that regard in many instances, and I would expect that the media will continue to do so and will be a positive force in this search. The fact that we have the internet and we have Facebook and we have immediate constant communication among the citizens also, in my opinion, is an asset that will enable us to catch him wherever he is, here or across America. We've had other instances where we've had people on the run and that were caught in other states as a result of the cooperation of law enforcement as well as the media and the public. So I believe that it's important that all three groups of people, the media, the law enforcement, and the public, cooperate in this matter as they have always done in the past. And again, I would like to compliment the media in terms of, in the past, as you know, the Billings case is one that was the perfect example. Because of the media pressure and the response from the general public, we were able to solve that case and effectively prosecute those people in that case. We hope that the cooperation between all groups of people will result in a speedy resolution to this matter. I would join with the sheriff and with the chief deputy in saying that this is a very dangerous situation. I would encourage the citizens not to become terrified or frightened, other than to be careful and aware of your surroundings and your in the situation that exists. And at this time, we'll answer specific questions.
Yeah, the one thing that I would conclude with is what Mr. Eddins just said. You know, we've asked our citizens from our first press conference, again, to practice situational awareness until such time that we get Mr. Boyette and Ms. Rice in custody. You know, again, practice some common sense. When you go to work, when you come home, make sure a friend or family member knows where you are, what your expected time of arrival is. Again, these may seem like measures in the extreme, but, you know, we're dealing with an extreme situation here. And let me tell you just how extreme. We've received information from more than one source on Mr. Boyette. He is a member and has been a member for a long time of the drug culture. He's known to be a heavy user of spice. These people stay awake for 4, 5, 6 days at a time. So again, he's made this statement to many, many people that he will not be taken alive. So again, in law enforcement, we take those threats and those admonitions very seriously. And so again, this is what we're dealing with, and unfortunately what our citizenry at large will have to deal with if they have contact with this individual. With that, we'll open it for questions.
Sheriff Morgan?
Yes.
The crime scene that you guys were investigating this morning, K-9 units back there this afternoon and scoping out the yard. Can you tell us what they're looking for right now? The second question is follow-up. Can you report, I know Saturday you could report on the weapons used in this case so far. Can you report any weapons that you know is being used?
We are aware, and because the weapon crosses jurisdictional lines, not only us, Santa Rosa, but also in Baldwin County crosses the state line, we are aware of the weapon, the caliber, et cetera, that was used. We're not prepared to release that information. That's something that will be part of the investigative process. But we are aware of it, as well as all the other agencies. As far as the searches this morning, again, as I stated earlier, we know that Boyette and Rice have been in that wooded area back and forth. They have traversed northwest Florida from Defuniak Springs all the way over into Alabama, actually leaving our state. They've crisscrossed this. We're working several investigative leads. Why? Why has he done that? We strongly suspect, but it's still speculation, it has to do something with his drug trade that he has had going on for many years, unfortunately. It's been identified by law enforcement and the state attorney's office on numerous occasions. What we're doing now in researching or regridding the woods, as we would call it, is we're looking for any encampment sites, any additional evidence that we may get to find out where exactly was he, or to find out that maybe that wasn't them. We have strong reason to believe it was. We want to verify that.
Sheriff Proctor's condition?
We cannot release that information on a medical condition. At last we heard that she was still in critical condition in a local hospital.
Sheriff Morgan, regarding Mary Rice, the woman traveling with him, up until today we've heard of her as a person of interest. What evidence made you guys make that jump to a suspect today?
Because of photographic information that we have from convenience stores, from a shot taken in a wooded area, where there was sufficient time for her, if you will, to make an escape, to walk away, to seek refuge, if you will, and safety. But she has returned, continually to him. So at this point in time, we upgraded her status, if you will, and she would be treated as a suspect with any contact with law enforcement.
Sheriff Morgan, can you talk a little bit about these pictures and where they came from?
They come from a wooded area off of 9 Mile, and that's as close as I'm going to get you.
Sheriff,
Since she's a
do you
suspect,
think the reason that he's here, and y'all talked about he has a drug problem, do you think he is staying in this area because he wants to stay close to whoever's getting these drugs from?
We have, well, yes, that and the drug trade itself. It's pure speculation, but being a drug user, who also deals, again, I'll speculate for you if you would like. I mean, he may be collecting. We're not sure.
you say she's a suspect. Are we talking like aiding and abetting or capital murder?
That is. I'll let Mr. Eddins answer that question.
She has clearly been upgraded to a suspect of accessory after the fact regarding the crime in Escambia County. She's been upgraded as to a suspect regarding the crime, the 2 people that were killed in Santa Rosa County. And the investigation in both counties is continuing, and we're beginning to focus on the big picture from beginning to end, so to speak, as it relates to her interaction with him. But at this time, in both counties, she has been upgraded to a suspect for accessory after the fact to homicide.
Sheriff Morgan, I know you can't talk specifics about Ms. Crocker's medical condition, but is she expected to survive?
We can't even, please forgive me. We don't do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, because of HIPAA laws, and number two, out of deference to our family. At this time, they're trying to deal with a family member who obviously has sustained a gunshot wound, and it would be wholly and completely inappropriate for us to speak anything about her. We pray that she has a full recovery, but again, we cannot release any information about her status whatsoever.
Do you believe the state
Tell us what you learned from this Shell gas station this morning. Why did it take the cashier so long to call authorities, and what did you learn from her?
Yeah, I would love to speak to that issue, and let me tell you why. This is, again, something else that we're dealing with is a societal shift in law enforcement. I have grandchildren that don't watch TV. They get all their information, if they want to watch a movie, they do it on Netflix, and they do it on their laptop or their home computer. They don't own a television. I have a grandson that doesn't own a television. And so they're limited in that. So it's a very real possibility that you're going to have a lot of people in Escambia County, even though We're putting it everywhere that we can think of, billboards, Facebook, websites, name it, we're doing that. There are still a large segment of people out there that are unaware of this case to the level that they should be. And so it's quite possible that that clerk, again, when we went back and pulled the tapes, and verified, Ms. Rice, also got a description from a witness that it was Mr. Boyette out in the car. Only until such time that we made contact with them and we started backtracking on finding where the vehicle had been with the two occupants, did they say, oh yeah, that is in fact those individuals. So it's a circumstance and it's a fallout of today's society. We're trying to be, as forward-leaning as possible in this process, but I can tell you that the way of getting information out today is not the same as it was even 2 or 3 years ago.
Do you believe the same gun has been used in all the cases?
This lady here.
Sorry, Sheriff
Yeah.
Morgan. In a search this extensive, it's obviously very taxing on your officers, I'm sure, especially when you're dealing with a man who's already said he's not going to go down without a fight. How are your officers doing? What are some of the things, maybe concerns they're bringing to you?
I'll let my chief deputy answer that when he just met today with the officers that are actually on the ground.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Our officers, our deputies are treating this as it is, as a homicide investigation. They're doing their job. They're doing it professionally. They're going to work one shift, and if we need them for another shift, they'll do that. In fact, most of the officers that we've talked to have volunteered to take that additional shift. Fortunately for us on our shift work, this is an overlap day for us. So we have twice the number of uniformed officers in this very shift today. And so they're out there. If you're asking what their mentality is, they're sworn to uphold the laws. And every once in a while we have an individual like this that, quite honestly, it's hard to get inside their head. And so we have to just saturate the areas. And as you can imagine, we're getting a bunch of tips. And so we have officers on the ready to investigate, to look into every single tip that we get. So thank you for your question. But our deputies are doing what they've done all their lives, and that's to uphold the law and be professional.
Social media seems to be a point of contention for you guys right now in terms of people reporting what they see or might hear. What's your advice to people on vigilante justice?
Well, social media is a little bit like fire. Fire is a wonderful servant or a merciless master. We've got the two sides here of social media. While we love the tips that are coming in, the misinformation that's being passed upon is double. We're doing double duty now on that. So, I think I had a question on the ballistics or the weaponry.
Do you believe the same gun has been used in all the victims?
Are we prepared, Mr. Eddins, to speak to that, or would you prefer not to?
I don't know if we can answer that. From a legal standpoint, I don't care.
Okay. We believe, yes, that we have a, how about this? I will tell you that the same caliber weapon has been used, we believe, in each and every homicide.
And is that the gun that he appears to be holding in that picture?
That would be pure speculation. He has a gun in the picture. Obviously, we haven't taken the gun. We haven't tested the weapon.
Is it so frustrating that it's been 5 days and he appears to be basically in our backyard, but he appears to be one step ahead all the time?
Well, there's a couple of reasons that can happen. Number one, again, he's staying mobile. It's not as difficult as one would think. It's frustrating for us to find out that, we believe that he's used fast food restaurants out off of 9 Mile. But again, unless you're, watching the news or if you're on the right Facebook page, etc., you may not be aware that we're looking for these two individuals. So we know that he's frequented fast food restaurants out in that part of our county, and no one's called us until after the fact. Or he may, in fact, have folks that are helping him to hide. We have reason to believe that too. We're running some leads down on that. So, but again, I want to reiterate what Chief Simmons and I said at the last press conference. If you're aiding or abetting Mr. Boyette or Ms. Rice in any way, and we have proof of that, I intend to take that information to the state attorney and ask that you be prosecuted to the fullest for that.
Is the Hardy Shell location, is that the last confirmed sighting of these suspects, and you still believe they're in the 2006 white Chevy Cobalt?
We do. We have no reason to believe that they've changed vehicles, and that is the last confirmed sighting. Is that it? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.